There's something, I don't know, something about something, maybe the thing you were talking with about the observant, the observed, and the what you were saying last time of the tools that at a certain point they're stop being useful. Um, and the other day I had kind of a realization that I was doing self-inquiry, and I think I told you about it, and suddenly realized that in that there was like an implicit thing that something needed to change or be different. And I realized the kind of thought structure of it, and kind of the ridiculousness of it, in the sense, as if I since then I as if I'm feeling a bit like most of what I do in that sense as a tool or as a self-inquiry or as a meditation, or is a kind of aggression and a kind of something that can only take me away from what I already am. And uh, I mean, meditation still or the space to sit down still happens. But it's as if it resonated more like, it's resonating more like to like, okay, I'm sitting, I made this space to sit down. I don't know what the hell needs to happen or not happen, and just, I don't know, not do anything, no? Or not, but not intentionally not do anything. Just sit down there, I don't know. And there is curiosity, but it also seems as if will sometimes is a way of, it's a kind of aggression, in the sense like, as if like this week that I was feeling quite a lot of um, dark feeling or negative feelings, and well, I was kind of one particular feeling that I can't identify well, and there also, but I also felt like the will to force myself to sit down with that was a kind of aggression, or a kind of rejecting, in a sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, and that meant that sometimes like what I would like escape it for a while, or like
Yeah.
just sit down and watch
Conflict.
a TV show, and like what do you say?
Creating a conflict.
Yeah. And then maybe I would escape it for a while, and then at a point like, or for the whole day, and at a point is okay, like I'm fed up of escaping, is worthless as well. So I just lie down, and the feeling happens, and then it gets better. But am I thinking wrong or something with this thing of the will, or with this thing of,
No, I don't think so. Um, it sounds to me very right, but because it's the kind of thing that's right at specific times in this process, it could not be right now for you, but my sense is that it is. My sense is that what is needed now for you is to really ask yourself what you want at every moment. And if you want to meditate, you meditate. And if that's to sit, you sit. If not, don't. And so there's a different level, a deeper level of risk and trust.
But it's also very, in a way, it's
Scary.
it's much it's scary because it's like I do that with work also. Like a lot of what I do working is I choose when or how much time or
Yeah.
and like I just don't work, and I don't know.
Okay, well, if you don't want to work, don't work. But I
Yeah,
said risk, right?
yeah,
A lot of. So what happens? It's not that simple, right? Because you could choose, you could say, well, I don't want to work. You don't work, but actually you do want to work because you want to make money. And so do you
yeah,
want to work or not?
yeah.
And then follow the deepest wanting at every time. And it is radical trust in what I say. When I say, I mean it. When I say, what does a universe as you want right now?
But it's really like letting go of everything and putting everything in the hands of the universe or something like that.
Oh, yeah, but that universe is you. And this is creating the opportunity for you to realize that. But there is a process. This shouldn't be done too prematurely, because if this teaching is taken too early on, one will just indulge in all of kind of very primitive conditioning, and life will become a mess. But at a different stage, when you have a lot more clarity about your thoughts and your emotions, which I think you have, then this is needed, because you've had a lot of adopting of technique and systems and structures and teachings for how to be, but it's all become, in a sense, come to an end where you're still chasing something by this and avoiding something.
Yeah, yeah, that resonates. Yeah,
And so the deep trust is just do whatever you want. But because you have the clarity now to start exploring more the subtle ones, what are the subtle ones that are not the deepest, that are just mental, emotional conditioning? Because you, as you said, and I said, it's risky. It's taking more risk and really committing to trust. Because you said it's very, that's a very easy one. You said, well, I don't want to work, so I don't work. So then that's a problem. It's like, well, do you really not want to work all the time? You never want to work. Try it. Let's see in 2 weeks how your life starts going, and then maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe
no,
not.
no, no. Yeah, no. It happens that I want to also.
Yeah, so it's not that simple. but then it becomes very radical in like, what do I want right now, without any prior rules, conditionings, techniques. What is the deepest movement of love for this moment right now? What I most deeply want to do, or whatever, right now. And it's an exploration. It's going to be at this stage like learning to surf all over again.
Yeah, because
Falling on your
I see there's a lot of conditioning, maybe in everybody, but in me, that it what you're saying, it sounds like a big trust, because it's as if we're conditioned to most of the time like being thinking in terms of, okay, like, I don't know, survival or
exactly. Yeah, survival of the idea of you, which is the survival of your relationship, the survival of your form of being you, and what people think of you, what you think of yourself,
yeah.
keeping life as it is. But now I feel like you're being called to a deeper trust. In a sense, is also a surrender. And it's a surrender of the false self to the true self, or the self to the no self, or whatever you want to, where my will is thy will. That's a more religious pointing, but it's basically saying what I believe to be my will, I see no longer it as mine, but it's thy will, divine, universal will. But the only way I could believe in my way is by creating it, by imagining it.
In my will, my
Your
way.
your in personal will, yes.
Mm.
And we need to, in a sense, develop it until it's the problem. And that's why I mean, depending on the stage, if this is too early on in somebody's process, the imagine the ego will can't be surrendered too early.
Mm. Yeah.
Because in a sense,
Mm.
we need a will that can obey. So at first it obeys a process, a teaching, a practice, and then it obeys whatever is the universe speaking right now. And so in a sense, ultimate freedom is ultimate obeying.
Mm.
It's that's the surrender. But I know this is really specific to you, and so for some people it might resonate and be appropriate, yes, but it could be the direct opposite right thing for somebody.
Well, one of the fears that comes up is like, why would the universe will? I guess it's more of the survival thing. Why would the universe will for my in personal thriving in as if God
Because
doesn't care for certain things?
yeah, but the thing is, when I say what the universe wants, it can't, it never will be what I truly don't want, the universe wants. Because it's what I'm referring to as the I and the universe is the same thing.
Hmm.
But it can be that what my mental conditioning is, what I believe to be what I want, is not what the universe wants.
Yeah.
But what I truly deeply want is the same thing as what the universe wants. And
Yeah,
that's
but
the realization.
there's the trust. No. And,
No, that's a realization. It's a trust at first to explore that,
hmm.
to in a sense practice exploring that, and then it can be realized. My will is thy will. There is no two will, and mine, what I thought was my will, is thy will. And so now I'm always in service. I'm in service to myself, to my deepest wanting. But it's not a wanting that's in service to body, mind, Nicholas. But it's not against it either. And at times it might be not in its favor, and that it can create, extreme situations. But it must be that the survival of body, mind, Nicholas cannot ever be priority.
Yeah.
Because then that is identification. And this is really tricky. What I'm speaking to is really can be misunderstood in a million ways. But it's also a core of the Christ teaching.
Yeah, but
And
it resonates. Yeah.
yeah, even if taken as a myth or a metaphor, Jesus' life and the crucifixion, it's pointing to this. But it's really tricky to this kind of might need to be put into a lot more words to clarify all of the ways in which it can be confusing or misinterpreted.
Mm.
But for you, I feel like it's appropriate for you to start exploring every moment. Any option is a valid option, and you don't know what it is. So then what do you want? Maybe it's work, maybe it's play, maybe it's do something, maybe it's do nothing. And everything is available. There's no rules, no teachings, no structures, no techniques, nobody telling you what to do. All of that is past. You've practiced, you've learned structure, you've been able to develop a will that can obey to something other than its in selfish wants. And now it's time to listen to that. Roberto would say the whispering of the heart. So what is the whisper? And the whisper is always at every moment, very subtle, very quiet. The wanting. And it's not that simple. It's not that as easy as, well, I don't want to work, so I'm not going to work then. Very quickly, that idea, that belief, that thought it's going to be seen as not true, not real.
Yeah.
But we need to have that clarity.
I just brought it up as something of the things that come up that are scary. But I,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and even to not meditate can be scary because
yeah,
you've learned that you need to meditate in order to wake up, and that's the only thing that matters, and that's what's going to save you. And all of that at some point is running away from something.
yeah, this is great. Like, I think it's very helpful to hear.
Hmm. And it's ultimate responsibility as well. You are your own boss.
Hmm.
No teacher before you has the truth for you. So you want to step up.
I'm not sure. Thanks, Nico.
You're welcome.